Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you are at Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is, what day is it? October 20th, 2021 at 6:12 in the morning. Um, yeah, this is my video blog, aka Morning Crypto Show. And I come on here every single morning without fail. I've been doing this since October 24th, 2020, and I've been doing it every single day without missing a day since February 6th, 2021. So I've been going on almost a year, but that's why I'm only at episode 301. Because at the beginning I was trying to figure out, how to do things and what days would be good and just kind of getting my process down. But that's what this show's been all about, is really just kind of learning to adapt, learning how to talk about crypto, learning about concepts and about the space, and just kind of documenting my whole journey through that. So yeah, that's what this is all about. And I'm not shilling anything, and I'm not your financial advisor, and I'm not your teacher or anything like that. I'm just a dude on the internet who turned on a camera and decided he wanted to talk about what he's learning in crypto. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I was gonna have a guest on for this morning, Dan from Insurace.io. He's in Lisbon, Portugal right now at that big, huge conference right now. There's a huge crypto conference going on in Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal is very friendly towards crypto and crypto regulations and everything like that. So there are a lot of crypto companies, and especially in Europe, that are flocking to Portugal to set up base there. One of those companies is Made a Game Hub DAO, who you've heard me talk about on here, and they've set up base over there in Portugal as well. I believe Utrust is over there in Portugal. There's a lot of different crypto companies in Portugal right now. So and then a lot of people just visiting Portugal right now because of this crypto conference. So yeah, Portugal is the place to be. So right on. Hope you know Portuguese. I know Spanish, and if you know Spanish and if you know some French, you can pretty much kind of figure out some Portuguese. So all right. All right. So anyway, let's go to the old CoinGecko. And so I'm trying to figure out what to talk about this morning. And the good thing about crypto is there's always something to talk about. So I always have something on deck, no matter what. And just anyway, it's just me. I could talk to a wall for hours on end because I just love to hear myself speak. So that's why I do my own crypto YouTube radio show, broadcast, whatever, because I like to hear myself speak, and I don't want to drive my family and friends and coworkers and everybody else crazy about me talking about crypto. I don't want to be that guy, that's talking about, hey man, you hear about CrossFit, or I'm a vegan, or let me tell you about my latest Ponzi scheme. Anyway, let's go over here to the CoinGecko and see what we have going on. Let me zoom this in here, so I don't want to make you guys have to squint just to see the screen. I know how it gets. I had LASIK, and I had bad eyes, and I wonder how long this LASIK's going to last me. But so far, so good. I got it like 4 years ago or something like that. And my vision was terrible. My contact prescription was like negative 11.75 or something like that. It was atrocious. Like I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. But, glory be to the power of the Lord. I sat there and got LASIK, and the blind could see. All right. All right. So let's look at some CoinGecko. And we have Bitcoin at 60. Hold on, let me just refresh this page just to make sure I'm looking at the current pricing. Let me wipe the scales from my eyes. All right, $63,841.70. Ethereum, $3,860.62. Binance Coin, $485.75. Cardano, $213. XRP, $1.10. Solana, $158.11. Polkadot, $41.16. USDC stablecoin, the Doge, 24 cents. Nothing's really changed too much in the top 10. Terra's 11 still. Wrapped Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, Uniswap, Binance, Litecoin. Oh, you know what I noticed is that ICP clown token's been pushed down to number 24, which yeah, man, I'm not unhappy about that. Um, and then let's see. I mean, the ICP clown token, it just seems to me like they're trying to build like this level of internet that's, this distributed Ethereum like system that's just going to be very access controlled and centralized in a way, and just the foundation of a social credit system. I mean, just like they have in China. I don't know. It just gives me a bad feeling. It just rubs me wrong about this whenever I briefly looked into it. But I haven't, to be fair, I haven't really dug deep into it. So who knows? But that's the first impression I get when I looked into it. All right. And yesterday on my ride home, I listened to the Crypto Masters, and I do like to listen to these guys because you never know what they will be popping out and talking about, just like me, right? But yeah, you know, two dudes, probably my age. We could probably relate and a lot of that. So maybe that's why I identify with them. But yeah, yesterday they talked. They just talk about random crypto projects, and like sometimes you're on CoinGecko and you see these projects and you're scrolling down and you're like, man, I need to look into that at some point, but this is only so much time. Like Clayton, I really would probably not have any reason to sit there and dig into Clayton unless something came up. I don't know. But there was one on here. Let's see if I can find it that they talked about yesterday. That for the longest time I've been like, man, I need to check into that, but I never have. QTUM, that's what it is, right here. And this one was ICO'd in, I believe, 2017. It's been around since 2016. It's just one of those older crypto projects that you've kind of always see, but you don't really know what it does. And this is one of those. But apparently it's kind of a hybrid between, it's like you take the best of Bitcoin and the best of Ethereum and you combine them, and you get QTUM. And, back in 2017, 2018, like this was like mind-blowing technology. You have these two big dogs, layer one solutions, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you're just like, hell yeah, let's do that. Let's take a look. And what could be better than combining the best of the worlds of both of these amazing blockchain technologies? Wow, look at that spike back in 2018. But it hasn't done much since then, And then, let's see right here in May 2021, when everything was pumping, it did pretty well for a minute there. But yeah, QTUM, back then, and I'm not discounting QTUM now. It still seems like it'd be good technology. And from the way they were describing it, it sounds like a pretty solid project, technologically speaking. But yeah, just kind of like nobody. I think the whole idea of trying to create some outperforming layer one solution is kind of fading to the wayside now that everything is going towards layer two solutions, and just different ways of approaching things with interoperability and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't know. It's up to you, but it was just interesting. My point being is you see these projects on CoinGecko and you don't really know what they are, but they're kind of lingering around in the top 50 or top 20 or top 100, and they're just there. And so yeah, it kind of gave me an explanation. So go to the Crypto Masters, find them on Spotify or on YouTube or whatever, and check out their latest episode about QTUM, and learn exactly what it is, because it's just one of those fascinating things. You're like, now I know. All right. It's not even up on their website yet, but it's on their Spotify. All right. So that being said, let's go back over here. I want to go to my Twitter bookmarks and talk about Sublime.Finance. This is something that what did this pop up for? All right. So let me see here. Let me check my float stream. I'm broadcasting live on float.app. It's flote.app, and it's kind of a mishmash of like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, but in a decentralized way, an uncensorable way. And yeah, I like Float. It's the live streaming function on there is bar none the best that I've played with, and it's super reliable. It's built on the IPFS network. They're going to be coming. It's Bitcoin compatible, and then they're going to be coming out with the alpha version, I guess, or the new version, the main version of Float, and this right now it's in beta, and it should be pretty cool. They'll have the Float token and everything like that. I don't know all those details. I haven't really dug that much into Float, but as far as video streaming, it's amazing. All right, so anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. I found this tweet called "Stoked to share what we've been building at Sublime.Finance." Sublime is an collateralized lending protocol enabling users to access loans backed up by their social capital. Okay, cool. Because if you don't know, one thing that DeFi lets you do is it lets you take your money and or your crypto, like your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your DAI stable coins, or USDC, or whatever you have, and to lock it up in a decentralized protocol, and then to borrow against it. And you don't need the permission of any bank or lending institution, or some kind of underwriter or anything like that, going through all your personal beeswax, asking you how much child support you've paid and whether or not you've been divorced, and how many places you've lived at, and the address of some apartment that you lived at back in 2001 and stuff like that. You don't have them asking, all nosing, all up in your bunghole for your whole life. You just lock up your collateral and you borrow against it, right? Okay, that's what collateralized loans do, and that's what things like Aave and Compound and all that stuff do for you. And it's amazing because you get to bypass the credit system. Like, I don't know, the credit system. I'll just like log into Credit Karma and something like that on one day, and I'll just see my credit score drop by 55 points for no real explainable reason, except for maybe that I used my card to put down a deposit on like some beach rental or something for the day, and then it'll go up, another 50 points another day. It's just no rhyme or reason, and the credit system is just used to manipulate you, and it's just basically used to control you. And people are sick and tired of the TransUnion, Equifax, the other one, whatever, Experium, and yeah. Hey, what's up, Liquidium? Welcome. Good to see you this morning. And so yeah, I have a live chat stream going on, so if you're on there, say hi. But yeah, that's what basically decentralized finance does. It allows you to circumvent this current corrupt and oppressive credit system that we have going on right now. And people are sick and tired of the banking and credit institutions. So people have been choosing to go through DeFi, which is Aave, Compound, Finance. Those are the blue chips, but there's hundreds of other decentralized finance protocols at varying degrees of safety. But one thing that they all have in common is that you have to pretty much have collateral, and you have to be able to lock up your tokens, which is fine. Like you probably shouldn't borrow money that you don't have. I mean, there's that whole risk assessment of, Jimmy wants to open up a coffee shop. Do I give him, $50,000 to do that? Will I get my return back and my money back? And then on top of that, am I interested in making extra off because I lent Jimmy that money? And Jimmy has to ask himself, do I think I can sell enough coffee in order to pay him back? But that is based on Jimmy's reputation. So what Sublime.Finance is doing is taking that DeFi model, and they're working on ways to do this with decentralized ID. And I would like to have a conversation soon here with Humpty Calderon on Crypto Sapiens, because that's his shtick, is decentralized ID. But there's several different decentralized ID platforms going around: Bright ID, Proof of Humanity, and a few others. And it attaches to your MetaMask wallet, and which is your Web3 wallet up in your browser. And basically your crypto address can track all your habits in a way on the blockchain. How many different DeFi protocols you've used, a lot of your transactions. And then social media like Twitter, you build a social network. What does that look like? How long have you been around? I don't know if they look at content, but who is following you and who are you following and stuff like that. So Sublime is using an under-collateralized lending protocol, enabling users to access loans backed up by their social capital. All right, so let's just dig on in here. Actually, let's look at this thread. Okay, so, oh, yeah, that is the thread. Okay.
My bad.
We aim to create a social graph for credit, allowing capital and risk assessment to be enabled through networks of trust, bypassing the need for centralized credit scoring systems. Okay. Yeah, we've established that. A centralized lender provides benefits through capital aggregation for larger loans and better protection against defaults through diversification, but they can be exclusionary and biased. Okay. Trust networks based lending, on the other hand, are inclusionary but can be risky because of concentration and generally can only support smaller loan sizes. Web-based peer-to-peer lending projects over the past 20 years failed to capture the social layer necessary to make this work. Okay, so Facebook wouldn't let you use their social graph. Interesting. And so crypto gives us the power to capture the best of both worlds. We're building a model that crowdsources risk assessment so that your borrowing capacity is judged by users who know you best, and aggregating capital to provide diversification and support larger size loans. Interesting. So now your social media is becoming your social credit. This, how does this sound to you? I mean, I just think Black Mirror, that episode, with the person's social credit score, and then they get the knocks on their credit, because they haven't behaved properly. It starts out in your social networks. You might say a dastardly comment on Facebook, and then you start losing friends, and that may lower your credit score, your social credit. I knew all this was going to end up tying somehow to finance and your ability to, take out loans, and who knows in the future to maybe interact with people in the public. This one is done in a decentralized way, but at what point, and for instance, too, as well, I mentioned yesterday, you collect POAPs, proof of attendance protocol NFTs for attending online events, for doing things, for going through programs. And POAPs are NFTs that prove you were there, and those can be stored in your MetaMask wallet. Well, the more of a trail that you leave on the blockchain, how imperative does it become for you to have to stick to that specific Ethereum address? And how much does that address become you? Even though it's just a bunch of random numbers. I mean, the internet started off as a bunch of random numbers for your internet address. For www.pets.com was some long string of numbers at first, but then they switched it up and they created domain names, and they're starting to do the same thing with Ethereum and Ethereum ENS name services, and then something.crypto as well. They're starting to make those shorter. How long before that becomes pretty much a mandatory part of your world, and how hard will it be to change different Ethereum addresses in the future? Because right now we're at a little sweet spot. If we want to maintain some kind of pseudonymity and even anonymity, depending on how you approach it, you can just hop from Ethereum address to Ethereum address, or even go into Monero, or different Bitcoin addresses, or whatever blockchain you're using, and there's a degree of privacy. But now it's becoming more and more important. And I was on a website, in a Discord server the other day, that before I could do any type of interaction on that Discord server, I had to get Bright ID verified. And Bright ID is a decentralized ID service in which it kind of verifies your Ethereum address, and you have to go to a connection party where people can see you in real life on a camera, and they say, yes, that person is a human. And then you get Bright ID verified. Then you can create connections all around with people that know you in real life. So when does this, this feature of blockchain, of pseudonymity, being an anon and stuff like that, start to dissolve away to this whole centralized pressure of saying, who are you? So you want a loan from me? Well, if you want to do X, Y, or Z, you're going to have to prove that, okay, we don't really have to know what race you are, or what gender you are, or orientation, or anything like that. But we do need to see your paper trail on the blockchain. Have you taken out a loan with Aave before? How big is your Twitter network? And stuff like that. Liquidia says, I don't really use social media aside from the occasional tweet. I guess I have no cred. And very valid points, like if you don't use Twitter, will you in a way be coerced to use or compelled to use Twitter or something like that in order to, or yeah, in order to be able to connect with some particular Discord server or to get some loan that you want? But then that begs the question too of you know do you really want to give in to the temptation to take loans for money and collateral that you don't have? And I guess how I used to love the idea of credit and just taking out a small business loan, but now the older I get and the more, I guess, paranoid maybe, but I like to have collateral to borrow against, and I know it takes time to save up and get that collateral, but that's just part of putting in hard work. But anyway, let's go to their blog. Let's see here. I'm assuming this is on Ethereum. I haven't found where this is going to be built on, but here's this Sublime. It's not out yet, so you get to register your interest, but reimagining credit via Web 3.0. And I can't wait to talk to Humpty about all this stuff, because he's probably going to provide me a bunch of insight. So what is Sublime? Sublime lets borrowers access capital-efficient loans by leveraging their reputation. So the borrow pool access capital from lenders at large via pools. Okay, borrowers set the terms of the financing, collateral ratios, interest rates, and more, and then the credit lines. Set up private credit lines without revealing your identity. Okay, so your personal identity, but what about your blockchain identity, your Anon identity? When does your Anon identity become your identity? So how does it work? Lenders assess borrowers using a host of indicators combining both on-chain and off-chain data. Support people you follow on platforms like Twitter or YouTube. And that's cool. I'm not dogging on all this stuff. I just have questions, and that's what this show's about, is having questions. And, So, Tia follows Raj on Twitter. So you lent 1,000 DAI to Raj. Okay, so you follow Dylan on Twitter. You are subscribed to Lisa on Twitch. So that's how they figure out the social graph, mutual connections, and lend through your web of trust. And so previously, Facebook would not give out your social graph. So that's why it hasn't worked before. All right, so let's see here. So lenders assess borrowers using a host of indicators combining both on-chain and off-chain data. Okay, so there's the identity. And then here is the on-chain data. What's your activity? Defaults. You have 0 defaults. You have $15,000 worth of lifetime loans. Hold on, let me just pull this out so you can see better. Oh, okay, there's nothing more. All right, and then you have $100,000 of interest repaid. So you right here back in December, you have of last year late repayment of 100 USDC. All right, so then here in February, lent 250 DAI to Harsh. Okay, and then 100 USDC loan closed in, I guess, March. And then in April, you supplied 11 Aave and 2 ETH and Aave ETH pool. And then here in May, you withdrew 5.5 ETH from Compound. And then in July, you $275 repaid by Harsh. Okay, so, and then here it points at an activity graph to browse the borrower activity on supported protocols and find mutual connections to lend via Web of Trust. So there it is. It's tracing all your blockchain activity. It's connecting you to your Ethereum address, which is your anonymous ID. So it doesn't really say who you are in your personal in real life space, your meet space. But is that really going to matter in the metaverse, who you are in the meet space, as you begin to create a paper trail in the blockchain space? Yeah, interesting. So build your new financial identity. Sublime lets users leverage their off-chain data to kickstart their Web 3.0 reputation. So increase your credibility using an ever-expanding list of verification plugins. So this also brings into mind the book Ready Player One. Once again, you build up all this stuff And in Ready Player One, there was instances of people, their avatars getting killed, and then when they get killed, all their stuff just gets thrown all over the metaverse, and people get to go around and collect it and stuff like that. What happens if something bad happens to your identification and your blockchain trail, or something terrible happens and you have to leave that Ethereum address behind and start an entirely new Ethereum address? You have to start from square zero again. Just like in this book, you had to start the game over again. I mean, the more this progresses, the more I can see it might become a problem. I don't know. Yeah. So let's see here. Decentralized identities assess users via their off-chain identities and on-chain transaction histories. So it can be used for funding DAOs, for asset management by professionals with provable DeFi track record and reputation, complex debt tranching. Le tranche is the slice in French. So build a sophisticated debt products by combining positions in different pools to gain exposure to a wide range of risk reward. Okay. So if it can be used for decentralized IDs, fully customizable money markets, savings accounts, and tokenized lending positions. And then look at all these people it's backed by. So Electric Capital, Galaxy Digital, Collab Currency, FinTech Collective, Ryan Selkis of Masari, Jill Gunther of Slow Ventures, Sandeep Nagwal of Polygon. I mean, there's some heavy hitters. Eric Chen of Injective Protocol, Yinwen Feng of Perpetual Protocol, Don Ho of Quant Stamp, Michael Chen of Phantom, and Frederick Haga of Dune Analytics. So it looks like it's backed by some pretty heavy hitters here. And let's go to their Sublime Medium page. It says Sublime is a decentralized lending protocol enabling users to utilize their identities to access loans. Unlike popular lending markets like Compound and Aave, Sublime offers borrowers to access partially secured debt backed additionally by their social reputation. I wonder if they're going to have a token. Borrowers who verify themselves using one of the supported methods, such as linking their Twitter account with their wallet address, can create custom loan pools. Lenders supply capital to borrowers they trust, and it can also look up their past performance, their interaction with others on Sublime, and their activities on other protocols. Anyone can be a Sublime borrower on Sublime, be it a pseudonymous artist looking to artists borrowing to kickstart their NFT career. 2, a trading firm looking for capital to execute trades. 3, a DAO looking for capital without having to dilute their token supply. I get that. And then 4, a business owner borrowing from their friends and family to expand their operation. And then 5, a non-crypto native but otherwise reputable lending business or borrower in the meet space. With Sublime, one can truly leverage their identity and brand to meet their capital requirements. And in this day and age, we work hard to build our social media identity. So whether it be Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and stuff like that, there's time and energy spent on that, and you can see that directly firsthand with all these Instagram influencers and stuff like that. I mean, that's becoming their career, and these YouTube creators and these YouTubers making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because of all their followers. I'm not one of those. I'm not even able to monetize right now, but it's just insane. But what if a centralized entity were to completely deplatform me and shadow ban me and whatever, like we see happening? Then suddenly your entire career is taken away from you. So in this decentralized lending pool, I don't know. I mean, I see this pressure to create some kind of oversight on it based on reputation. And I mean, these platforms that they're basing their reputation off of are centralized. There are some decentralized. Maybe if they were to base it on a decentralized social media platform like Float.app, but Float's not big enough. But maybe in the future there will be a really good decentralized social media platform. I don't know, man. I'm just interested to hear what your thoughts are. But here's this. I'm going to be going here. I'm at 30 minutes, but real quick, the over-collateralization conundrum. In the absence of identities, over-collateralization has been a necessary evil. While it greatly minimizes the possibility of a loss, it comes with some obvious flaws. It is extremely capital inefficient and excludes a large section of users with limited access to capital. Attempts at under-collateralization have fallen short. Most either rely on porting off-chain credit scores calculated using centralized and proprietary black box algorithms, or on middlemen to perform risk assessment. Both of these methods are likely to suffer from scalability issues and require reliance on third parties, not unlike legacy traditional finance systems. Yeah, I guess the middlemen, you have to sit there and look at every single individual account and have a human being touch it. And then if you're having thousands of people come in, trying to use the lending platform, then the scalability is definitely an issue. The first verification method we will support will be using Twitter. This will require users to tweet a message signed with their private keys. This verification method addresses two issues. Using an existing social network allows us to quickly bootstrap the social graph of users on Sublime. Porting identities as opposed to credit scores allows Sublime to be instantly accessible to users all around the world, eliminating reliance on legacy financial systems. And that's good, but when is our social media social graph going to meld in and become almost synonymous with a credit score? Sublime will initially focus on onboarding institutional users, DAOs, and creators as borrowers. Such borrowers, so they're going to start with institutions, not with you and I. Such borrowers are supposed to serve as the seeds for propagating our credit-based social graph. This marks our first step towards democratizing access to fair credit without the need for centralized scoring systems. Okay, so combined with the ability to set up pseudonymous credit lines, not anonymous, but pseudonymous, tokenized lending positions to price default risk and facilitate early exits, and a host of other features, we aim to help users truly be their own bank. That's cool, man. So what if I really needed to bootstrap my channel, Eureka Street Crypto Hub? I mean, I would love to make some merch, and sell some merch. So I have a bunch of cool t-shirt ideas, and I have a friend that makes some really cool skate graphics I would like to incorporate into this channel and put them on shirts and caps and stuff like that. This might give me something like this with my social media social graph that I've built up using this channel. That might be some good leverage in order to be able to obtain a loan to do something like that. I don't know. But then again, I do have the collateral to do something like this too, so I don't really need an under collateralized loan. But it's not the case with everybody. All right. Anyway, I've spent enough time sitting there beating this horse to death. I was supposed to interview Dan Thompson. I should be back on live at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. He's in Portugal and he couldn't make it right now. It's really loud where he's at, and he's trying to get to a quiet place. So by 10 o'clock Central Standard Time here, he should be able to come online with me. So I think I'll be logging back on live. If not, I will be recording and putting it up. But it's going to be a double header today, a busy day today. Plus I'm working, and plus I have other meetings and stuff like that with the DAO. So yeah, it's going to be a busy day today. So that being said, yeah, it's pretty good for having to pull a topic out of my butt, isn't it? Huh? Oh man, like I said, I can talk to a wall if I have to. All right. That being said, I will talk to you guys at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. All right. Later.